Hello and welcome to Unbecoming with Elena Joy. This is part 2 of my series on relational capacity. In part 1, I shared a personal story about how my own disconnection nearly burned me out. If you missed it, you can hear it in our previous episode. Today, we're digging into what relational capacity actually is, why it matters for burnout, and how to start rebuilding it. I call it resilience is out, connection is in. How rebuilding relational capacity prevents burnout and boosts performance. Burnout's fastest accelerant, disconnection. Let's say we have 2 employees, same job title, same workload. One is thriving, the other is a single, well, that's not what Bob said, away from collapse. Why? It's rarely just the to-do list, not in 2025. It's just as likely that it's their relational capacity. When that's depleted, burnout can take out even the strongest player. Not because there's too much to do, but because no one lasts long when they feel like they're doing it alone. Is that you? How's your relational capacity these days? Relational capacity is like the wiring under the hood. When the wiring is solid, well connected, insulated, and maintained, it can carry a heavy load. Stress, conflict, and tough conversations all flow through without overload. But when the wiring starts to fray, every demand pulls more energy than the system can safely handle. First, lights flicker. You get a little more avoidant, a little more defensive. Then circuits blow. Small misunderstandings feel big. Collaboration feels impossible. Eventually, even high performers stall out completely. Because here's the thing, sometimes burnout is about running on wiring that can't carry the load anymore. Relational capacity is the depth of trust, connection, and psychological safety you consistently experience at work and at home. We only have one well of capacity. If it is depleted in one place, both places will feel the consequences. When you have plenty of relational capacity, you can navigate tough conversations with presence, create psychological safety in moments of connection, and repair trust after tension or conflict. But when relational capacity stays low for too long, you are likely to become avoidant, defensive, and eventually burn out. Even if you can handle everything on your to-do list, even if everything on paper looks fine, if every day feels like I just can't people today, burnout might be closer than you think. Relational capacity is like wiring under the hood. If it is well connected and maintained, it can handle a lot of stress. If it's frayed, even top performers stall. The cost of disconnection. Burnout costs money for families and for businesses. It can even create financial collapse for families. For businesses, research shows that loneliness explains 15% of the variance in burnout. A lack of belonging explains nearly 29% of emotional exhaustion. So, a 50% increase in the feeling of belonging can reduce exhaustion by 14%. I'll put the source for that. There's 2 studies for those, and I'll put the source for that in the show notes. But we can't ignore what the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found in their study just last April. They were looking at how much it costs an employer for employee disengagement and burnout over the course of an entire year. Now, for a non-managerial hourly employee, that's going to cost the company about $4,000. For a non-managerial salaried employee, that's going to cost just a little over $4K. For a manager, in that year of disengagement heading into burnout, for a manager, that's going to cost the company over $10K. And for an executive, over that course of 1 year with disengagement ending in burnout, that's costing the company well over 20 grand. And I'll put the source of that study in the show notes as well. We often try to solve burnout with wellness apps, PTO, or resilience webinars. None of that sticks if someone feels disconnected. Connection is not a perk, it is infrastructure that supports performance and protects people from burning out. What low relational capacity looks like. In our trainings, participants start with a proprietary capacity assessment to measure how connected they really feel. You can take it for free this month, actually. Keep listening to find out how. All right, so if relational capacity is low, team trust feels fragile. Feedback is either avoided or taken way too personally. And here's a huge red flag when every interaction is, quote, nice, and very few are actually real. Because you cannot trust someone's yes if you have never heard their no. And people rarely tell you no unless it feels safe to be real. Burnout does not care if the disconnection starts at home or at work. If the disconnect happens with a pivotal relationship, it can fracture confidence and make it harder to maintain existing connections, let alone build new ones. Connection fuels capacity. It is the infrastructure for performance, for leadership, for life. That's just how we humans are wired. We all need authentic human connection to restore what this crazy life drains out of us. Some people need lots of connections, like a 90s rom-com. Some people really only need one or two deeply connected relationships. Regardless of the amount, authentic connection is a need we all have. It creates the structure that builds emotional resilience. So, how do we build or restore relational capacity? Well, we know that isolation is one of the strongest predictors of burnout. Every time we disconnect, skip a check in, avoid feedback, or tell ourselves, I've hit my human interaction quota for the day, we drain the very capacity that protects us from burning out. So let's rebuild that capacity on purpose. Step one, pick your time frame. Choose a realistic window to focus on this new skill between 1 week and 1 month. The longer you stay intentional, the better your results will be, but pick a time frame that sets you up for success. Now, before you start, we need to gather some pre-strategy data. So, score yourself on these statements and how often you think or feel this way, from a 1, which is very rarely, up to a 5, which would be almost always. So there's 3 statements. The first one is, I avoid collaboration these days. It's just easier to do it myself. How often do you feel that way? 1 would be rarely, up to 5 would be almost always. The second statement, I avoid giving feedback because I'm afraid it will hurt the relationship. 1 would be rarely, up to 5, which would be almost always. And lastly, I've caught myself thinking I don't have it in me to engage right now. How often do you feel that way? All right, add up your score and then put a calendar reminder for the final day of your realistic time frame. Paste these questions into it with your starting score. You can go to the article to paste, or you can go to the transcript of this episode. Now, on that day, take the mini assessment again and see if your scores improve. You know what? I will also copy paste these 3 statements into the show notes. So hopefully it's easy for you to grab them there and put them into your calendar reminder for the final day of your time frame. Okay, so what are we doing in that time frame? We are going to step 2, prioritize micro moments of connection. Your mission for the next, whatever your time frame is simple. Spot and seize tiny opportunities to connect. We are going to ease into this by breaking your time frame into chunks. If you chose a month, think in weeks. If you chose a week, think in days. For each chunk, pick a new moment to focus on. The first one might be your mornings at home before work or school. You're going to focus and see where can you spot and seize tiny opportunities to connect. Your second chunk might be like the morning time before lunch, and then during your lunch break, and then your like mid-afternoon, maybe your slump moments, depending on how many chunks you broke up your time frame into. The goal is you don't want to focus on the whole day, all week, or all month, but instead set yourself up for success. Pick a specific time frame to focus on, and see where you can spot and seize those tiny moments of connection. By the end, you'll have stacked several connection habits without feeling overwhelmed. Now, what counts as a micro moment of connection? It's the small human moments we usually rush past. They are the mini moments where your ability to be fully present can create powerful connection and impact for your capacity and for theirs. It's like the entire car belting out the same song on the way to school. It's like looking your coworker in the eye at the coffee pot and asking, "How are you really?" It's about pausing before a meeting starts to share that, yeah, the project's been heavier than expected. How is everyone holding up? Big offsites and family reunions, they're great, but sustainable connection is built in the in between moments. These tiny moments of presence tell your nervous system, I'm not alone here. And lastly, step 3 is a little pro tip. When you spot one of those micro moments that could be a moment of connection, but you freeze on how to take advantage of it, I want you to think, what matters to them? Let the answer to that spark how to connect with them in the moment. What matters to them? Now, if you don't know, that's just data. Not knowing what matters to the people around you is a huge data point. It means there's a relational gap quietly draining everyone's energy. Closing that gap is the game changer. Find out and explore what matters to them. Share what matters to you, and watch your relational capacity refill in real time. Burnout prevention isn't just about doing less, it's equally about belonging more. Every small, intentional connection moment rewires your nervous system to feel safer, stronger, and less alone in the fight. How about find out your own burnout risk? If you are curious about your own capacity, come to this month's Joyful Office Hours. I'm running the capacity assessment for free for the public for the first time outside of a private keynote or client training. Bring yourself, bring your team, and find out where your burnout risk is highest so you know exactly where to invest your time and energy. You can register for the free session by going to joyfulofficehours.com. And of course, I'll put that link in the show notes as well. Connection is a strategic asset. Think of every moment of trust, every small act of belonging as rewiring your system. Each time you build connection at home or at work, you reinforce those circuits so they can carry more without burning out. Relational capacity is the wiring that allows people to do hard things together without short circuiting under stress. Burnout accelerates when we feel like we are powering everything alone on frayed wires. When you invest in connection and intentionally build trust, safety, and presence, you create a system that can hold the load. The kindest thing you can give yourself in 2025 might be this: rewiring your life through connection so you can keep running without burning out. If this article hit a nerve, forward it to the teammate who feels like they're holding it all together alone. Then come join me at this month's Joyful Office Hours, where you can take the capacity assessment for free, the exact same tool I use with keynote audiences and corporate clients. Find out exactly which type of capacity is draining your energy so you can stop white knuckling it and start rewiring for real resilience. Register at joyfulofficehours.com. And hit subscribe so you don't miss next week. We are exploring your time and energy capacity. Learn how to see your calendar in a whole new light. And forward this to someone who needs the reminder you don't have to carry the load alone. I hope this was helpful and valuable for you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your focus. And thank you for everything you're doing in the world to increase connection for yourself, most importantly, and for others. Be good to yourselves, fam. I appreciate you.